And welcome back to Wrestling Nostalgia. This time I'm being joined by the legendary Baron Von Raschke. Baron, how are you?
Never heard of him.
Never?
Oh,
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 this is going to be a short chat then,
uh,
isn't it?
I guess, I guess it's going to be a real short interview. Yeah,
Yeah. Well, the Baron,
I have a motto: if it isn't fun, don't do it. So,
me too. So we're
uh,
we're good. We're good, right?
yeah.
Yeah. So Baron, you've got a new documentary out. It's called The Claw. It's available on Amazon Prime. And it talks a lot about your career and your prior to your professional career and everything else. So when you and I talk, I'm from Indiana. So I want to focus in if we can on Indiana and Dick the Bruiser WWE. Is that all right with you?
Fine and dandy. Some of my best years were spent in
Well,
Indiana
I agree, but I'm biased. So
before they before they forced me out.
oh well, we'll get to that.
No.
No, keep that thought. Keep that thought. Well, you came in about around 1969. Right. So how did you come to come work in Indianapolis for Dick the Bruiser?
Um,
I mean, I'm sure
I
you knew Dick before, right? You probably worked with him in some other areas and things.
yes, and Dick the Bruiser and Wilbur Snyder were
Hmm.
owned the territory,
Yep, yep.
and they worked Chicago, which was owned by Vern Gagne,
Hmm.
and they owned a share of it
Right.
somehow. I don't know how that stuff works, but that's it. Anyway, they did interviews from Indiana for Chicago,
Uh-huh.
and Minneapolis did interviews for their territory in for Chicago, and met, they gelled, and it was a great success story
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, WWA
for them, by the way.
for the well, yeah, WWA. I mean, it was a pretty big promotion, right? They were drawing big houses and
That's
everything.
right.
Yeah.
That's
So
right.
were you when you came over and started working more for? Were you excited? Because I mean, there's some good, that's some good crowds to work for.
Yes, we did. Matter of fact, when when I was working in the Indiana area, uh, they booked me with some guy named Vern Gagne at the White Sox Park in Chicago, and it was the biggest house ever in Chicago at the time. And I haven't heard about any big houses there
Yeah.
for a long time. But anyway, it all kind of came together. The two competing parties met,
Yeah.
and everybody had a good time. They
Yeah.
even blew off the fireworks thing on
Yeah. Oh, yeah. At the ballpark.
scoreboard. The
Yeah.
scoreboard, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and another name that I want to talk to you about. My favorite personality ever in wrestling, who managed you in the WWE, Bobby Heenan. What
Bobby the Brain Heenan.
Tell me about Bobby Heenan and what it was like knowing and working with him.
Well, Bobby and I became great friends during the time that we worked in in the same territory,
Yeah.
Indianapolis area,
Yeah.
uh, and through the years we were in contact. You know, so to me, he was a great guy. He was probably the best manager I'd ever worked with, and I worked with some great ones. So, but
Yeah.
uh, yeah, Bobby was a character.
Yeah. I mean, right. Very quick witted, right? Always had a joke. But I'm assuming Bobby was like that even off the camera, right?
Oh yeah, he was a sharp kid. He was a sharp kid,
Yeah.
very
And
successful.
yeah, I mean, was he was Bobby always the kind of the clown to be around, trying to make people laugh and everything else?
Uh, he had his moments. Yeah, yeah.
Well, there's that footage that's I think that's in the documentary, right? Of like a cookout, right? I'm thinking that's from Indianapolis there. And I think Bobby's there with you.
Yeah,
And
that
so
that was at his house.
At Bobby's house. Yeah.
I think so.
Did Bobby do the grilling?
I hope not. I hope
No.
not.
No, Bobby was entertainment, right?
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt, but
No,
Mitsu did it. Mitsu
Mitsu was there.
Yeah, Mitsu. Yeah.
Mitsu Arakawa he was
Oh,
making.
Mitsu was the cook. That's right. Mitsu
Yeah.
Arakawa was a great chef.
Yeah,
He was-
absolutely.
Yeah.
I know his son Michael. He's a chef too, and
Yeah,
he's always
he's
talking.
He's out in California.
Yeah. He's always talking about how he learned to cook from his dad, and how his dad was such a great chef.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
what was Mitsu's specialty when you went to the barbecue? What was he? What did Mitsu cook for you?
Let's see. We went to the state park there, and the wardens invited us to their barbecue, and
Yeah.
what had happened to be that particular day was a deer that somebody had run over in the park.
All
So
right.
we were barbecuing roadkill.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
And,
And,
Mitsu Arakawa made it delicious.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, and it's funny to see that footage with little Carl, little Michael, all these guys running around.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
I mean it's nice to see that kind of stuff. Were you guys all there? All you wrestlers there in Indianapolis, were you close like that and hung out a lot and went to each other's for dinners and stuff? Was it pretty close knit?
It was pretty close knit. Yeah, we didn't overdo it, but yeah, we had a great time.
Did you ever have a fear of being seen in public with someone who you wrestled on a show?
I don't think I ever thought about that because I never did that. I never hung around.
All right.
Somebody I was competing with.
Gotcha. All right. Well, yeah. I mean, Bobby was managing you, right? You could go to Bobby, and Mitzi was a heel, so you could go over there for a barbecue. It was all right. Yeah, no problem there.
Yeah. The welcome mat was out.
There you go. That's right. Yeah, you're not hurting anything there. But you had a long run as the champion there in the WWA, and wrestled Dick the Bruiser quite a bit. And Dick the Bruiser, tell us about working for him, because I always thought he liked the bad, the heel champion, the bad guy champion, and chasing him. Is that what you thought with Dick too? That he liked to be the challenger? That he thought that's where the money was made?
I don't know how his brain worked, but
That's
I don't even know if he had one.
That's a loaded question.
Anyway, but anyway, he was a good businessman, and he was quite successful as a promoter and as a wrestler.
Yeah. Did you get along with Dick personally? Just, I mean, as away from the business?
No.
No. Why not?
Because he was too much into himself. Not like the great Baron Von Raschke. I'll tell you that.
Did you ever go to Dick the Bruiser's home there in Indianapolis?
What?
Did you ever go over and visit Dick the Bruiser's his home in Indianapolis on Killer Avenue?
I believe they had the office in his garage. So yes.
Yeah. Did you know?
I was invited to the garage.
To the garage? There was a story that Dick the Bruiser was the only person, or the first person in Indianapolis, to have a urinal in his home. Like a wall urinal, not a normal toilet. Wait, what? What is that?
I was never invited into his bathroom. I don't know what it is.
So you say Dick the Bruiser was fully white? I mean, that over his career, that shows a lot, right? Dick the Bruiser kind of did what Dick the Bruiser wanted to do. What was best for Dick the Bruiser? Did you see some of that?
Oh,
did you butt heads with him?
I butted everything with him.
Yeah?
Fist, arms, toes, nose, elbow.
Well, and probably the most famous time
and I always said, oops.
Probably the most famous time that you butted heads with him was the German Gestapo death cage match. Do you remember that one?
How could I forget it?
Well, it was It was on August 26, 1972. Not that that's that big a deal, but and at the time, there you go. There it is. Yep. And in the newspaper at that time, they were calling it one of the wildest, bloodiest matches in Indianapolis. So,
Could be. It looks like it's all his blood.
well, that's the right way, right?
I got it on that fence and I ripped and tore. I didn't know it had little sharp spikes.
So, who was this a Dick the Bruiser ideal that you guys had wrestled so many times? You had to have something big, right? To no, you just should.
Just another match to me.
Wow, man, not for everybody else. This was a big time match. This drew a big house, a record gate at that time.
Yes.
And so you're saying at that time you're just so busy on the road traveling, it just another night in the office.
Another night in the office, even if it's a cage.
A particularly bloody night, but still another night in the office. Well, what about, man, there was a good roster of guys there. And if any of these guys you want to talk about or whatever, I mean, you wrestle guys like Bobo Brazil.
Bobo Brazil, yes.
What'd you think of Bobo?
Many, many times. Well, he's a giant of a man, and he's a kind of a gentle giant. And I understood he was a nice guy outside the ring, and everybody, really liked him. And they didn't. I was misunderstood for 20 years.
Of course, yeah.
So how that goes. But Bobo was a good person. I'm led to believe,
yeah. And what about Moose Cholak?
But I didn't mind beating him.
Of course not. It's what you're paid to do, wasn't it?
Well, if you could see me walking up and down these steps today, you would know how I feel about Moose Cholak.
Yeah.
My body would be in a lot better shape if it wasn't for Moose Cholak.
Yeah.
One of the clumsiest wrestlers I ever got in a ring with.
Was he? So
yes.
What happened with Moose?
He was like a locomotive. Boom, bang, crash, boom. You never knew where he was coming from. And every time he touched you, he hurt you.
What did you think of that big moose head he wore to the ring?
I thought it was lovely till he took it off.
Looked better with it on.
Yeah. He had so much trouble getting it off. Yeah. Big moose, yeah. He famous, and they wiggled and squandered, and he set it on the outside of the ring. And the little ring guy that took the ropes back picked it up with one arm and took off with it.
Totally killed Moose what he was doing, huh?
I don't think he liked that.
Probably not. What about Wilbur Snyder, Bruiser's partner? They called him the most scientific wrestler in the world.
Maybe he's a test tube baby. I don't know. But anyway, I don't know what science and wrestling have to do with each other. But,
I don't either.
You can think about a lot of things, and you can do this better, and you can do that better, and new holds come and go, and this, that, and the other. But Wilbur was very, very likable.
Yeah. What was business wise? Was he easier to deal with than Dick the Bruiser?
I don't know.
No.
They were my whatever. Yeah. What are you showing me?
What about Pepper Gomez?
Yeah.
Pepper Gomez, he was another one. He was a fan favorite, and he was jumping around the ring.
What did you ever try to put the claw on that iron stomach? Because they always said Pepper Gomez had that iron stomach, and they did those things with the cars and to demonstrate how tough his stomach was.
You're not getting him mixed up with Reggie Parks, are you?
No. Well, maybe Reggie did too.
They used to run over Reggie Parks on TV.
Did they?
Yep.
What same concept, right?
With a Volkswagen.
Yeah, Reggie Park. I mean, that's another guy, right? I mean, he's tough guy. Later made a lot of belts, championship belts.
He what?
He made
championship belt.
Yeah, he made belts. That's what he did later. Well, I think he might still do that. But what was Reggie Parks like? Yeah. Did you ever put the claw then on Reggie Parks on his stomach?
Probably did.
Yeah. Was it no success there with that iron stomach?
It probably helped get him a little tired, a little worn out fighting it. There are other ways to beat a guy, so
yeah, of course.
I used the claw. It was my favorite hold, but it wasn't my only hold.
That's right. What about Ernie Ladd? Because you were tag team partners with Ernie Ladd, held the tag team titles there.
I certainly was, and Ernie was a great partner. We got along great.
Big guy, isn't he?
Was he?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. You stood next to him, not me.
That's right.
Former football player.
And I'm 3 inches taller than my hair. So anyway, but yeah, I was 6'3", and he was taller than that. I don't know how tall he was, 6'6", maybe. But Ernie was he was a real gentleman, nice guy.
Did you ever have any trouble with working with Ernie as a partner because he had bad knees, right? He always had knee problems, they said. Did that ever come up when you were working as tag team?
They were his knees.
No, but I mean, did you have to pick up the slack?
He had a lot of knee surgeries because he was a big football player and the Kansas City Chiefs. Yeah, sure, yeah. But I much more humbly, I played football and I had knee problems too. I had operations too.
That's right.
But he had a lot more than I did. So he wins out.
Or maybe the Baron's just tougher, right? And just didn't complain.
Tough enough, I'll put it that way.
Of course.
We were good partners.
Yeah, you were. I mean, tag team champions.
We knew how to work like a team.
Yeah, managed by Bobby Heenan. And
managed by Bobby Heenan.
Yeah. At that time, right? Pretty Boy. They called him Pretty Boy, though, at that time.
He called him Pretty
Boy. Did you ever tell him, hey, Bobby, I'm the pretty boy in this equation here?
I just expected him to accept that.
Yeah, well, just a given, right? Yeah.
You know how many people come up to me and say, Mr. Clooney, will you sign my autograph?
Well,
I have to chase them away.
Yeah, it gets to be a problem, right? I mean, only so many times you can deal with that.
Yeah.
If only you had George Clooney's paychecks.
If I only had his what?
His paychecks, the money he makes.
Depends on the week, yeah.
Well, tell us, when you were in Indianapolis, do you remember what were the road trips like? Because the towns weren't that far apart, right?
No,
but
guess what? That made those trips short.
Yeah. Did you travel with anybody when you did those road trips, or were you mostly just kind of driving on your own?
Well, if I was partners with Ernie Ladd, it was Ernie Ladd and maybe Bobby Heenan. Bobby Heenan was my manager with different partners too. So, we always got.
Did you make Bobby? Did you make Bobby drive?
Huh?
Did you tell Bobby he had to drive?
No, not my car.
Well, but also at this time, though, you were working up in Ontario a lot for the Bearman, right?
Yeah, the Bearman.
Yeah. So did you make that drive going from like Terre Haute up to Ontario? Was that a long drive to make to do both those two territories at the same time?
Well, we were going to from Indianapolis. We worked Detroit sometimes, and we were going up that direction quite often. So it was just another booking.
Yeah. Well, so what was you hear lots of stories about the Bear Man, right? And how wild he was. I mean, he got that nickname right with the bear. What was it like working for the Bear Man up in Ontario?
That's because he owned a bear, you know.
That's right. Did you ever wrestle the bear?
Well, I have a story about
Tell me that story. I'd love to hear it.
Bobby Heenan did something to Dick the Bruiser that made Dick the Bruiser mad.
Yeah.
So he was challenged to something by Dick the Bruiser that if his guy didn't win, then Bobby Heenan would have to wrestle the bear.
Uh-oh. Okay.
Bobby Heenan, my good friend, my pal, my buddy, my manager. I don't know what I'm doing here. He was deathly afraid of the bear.
Yep.
And the bear wrestled with a muzzle on.
Yep.
And they'd taken his fangs out.
Yep.
I feel sorry for the bear, but
yeah.
Yeah. But they left the molars in. You'll have to ask Tim Woods about that because he lost a finger.
To the bear?
To the bear.
Oh.
I heard, this is a story I heard. I never.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, so Bobby wouldn't, whatever got him into the situation where he had to wrestle the bear, and he had to do it for a whole week of different towns, and Bobby wouldn't do it, so I had to do it. I had to get in the ring with the bear, so I did, and actually I had the bear pinned one time. He was on his back. He was on his back, but the referee never counted. I kept saying, "Count, count," and looking up at the referee. And then I looked, and the bear's back is like this and like this.
Yeah.
It's like a V shape.
Yeah.
So he's never on tilts back and forth.
Yeah.
So anyway, if it was the Olympics, it would have been the Olympic style wrestling. It would have been a fall, but not in pro wrestling.
No.
So anyway,
not to mention that the ref happened to have a relationship with the bear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The ref owned and trained the bear, yes, but it could wrestle.
Course.
It could do some wrestling moves. So.
Yeah, I would venture
they're natural wrestlers. Most people think that wrestling's about grabbing somebody and doing this and doing that with him, but it's not necessarily grabbing them.
Yeah.
It's pulling them in.
Yeah. Okay.
And the bear was very good at that.
I bet.
Very strong.
I would guess that. There you go. I would guess the bear was a better worker than some of the other guys you got in the ring with, wasn't it?
I take him over Moose Cholak.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I actually like Moose Cholak, but he was a terror in the ring.
I bet. He's a big boy, though, wasn't he? Big guy.
He was a big guy.
Well,
almost as big as the bear, but not.
Probably couldn't move as well as the bear, could he?
I don't know.
No. Well, and you talked about Detroit, and there at one time, Dick the Bruiser was running shows in Detroit at the same time as the Sheik, and
right.
And you were working for Bruiser. Did anybody ever say anything to you about that from the NWA or anything else because you were working for Bruiser at that time in Detroit?
Nobody said anything to me about it. I just go where I was booked. I go. That's all.
Yeah. Well, I know the NWA they were backing the Sheik a lot, right? Sending a lot of guys in. But what's wild is both guys on the same night, they had these huge crowds at both shows. I mean, Detroit was drawing all kinds of fans to two different shows on the same night.
Yeah, it was on fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd worked for the Sheik many years before this.
Yeah.
But that was their problem, not mine. I just
That's right.
did
It's
what I was supposed to do.
above your pay grade, isn't it?
Way up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's
All
so
right.
what's the Sheik like?
Huh?
What's the Sheik like to work for?
He was a promoter, you know. You get your bookings, you go to the town, you do what you're going to do, and uh, I got treated fairly well, I thought so.
Yeah. I mean, well, Detroit was a hot town at one point. I mean, there at the
Really?
Cobo, and yeah.
Yeah, Kobo would sell out almost every night. Every
Yeah.
night that,
Yeah. And of course, a lot of the same guys, right, would wrestle for Sheik and Bruiser because they were so close.
that's right.
So yeah, it was a lot of, but I mean, the Sheik, came down to wrestle for Bruiser quite a bit, especially into the 70s and everything. So that's what's wild. After they ran those shows at the same time, they went right back to working together afterwards, like it was no big deal.
Yeah,
I guess they were making their money. They didn't care, right?
it's a very interesting business.
It sure is. And it attracts weird people, some weird people, doesn't it?
Do I resemble that remark?
No. No. My next question was going to be, so how does Baron, this grounded guy from the Olympics, family man, level-headed, just does his thing? How was it ever hard for you in wrestling to deal with some of these wild people?
No,
No.
no. I couldn't live like Baron Von Raschke. I couldn't live like that 24 hours a day. I had to have some time off. I would go crazy. Cover that microphone. Yes. I could be Baron whenever I wanted to be, but I didn't have to be Baron when I didn't want to be. You got it?
Yep. Well, and it talks about that in the Claw, right? That when you went home, you were just a normal kind of guy, right? Just a dad and a husband.
Well,
No. I mean, but a lot of wrestlers had trouble separating the two things, right? I mean, they didn't view wrestling as a job. It was their life. So they, had a lot of troubles and different things because of that. And you always thought it was work, right? It was my job.
That was my job. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I treated it like a job, and I did the best I could. And, I just tried to get along with everybody, and pretty much did, and so on and so forth. I'm making myself sick.
Well, did you ever? What's that?
I think the real me is the Baron.
Yeah. Oh well.
And you wouldn't like him, I'll tell you that.
No, bro. But yeah, but I through the camera you can't put the Claw on me, so I think I'm okay right now. As long as we've got that space, I'm safe. Did you ever have any trouble with Dick the Bruiser about pay or anything?
I don't believe I've ever complained to him about pay, no.
No. Well, because I know some guy said that Bruiser, I don't like Bruiser Brody had an issue with him over some pay one time. And
Bruiser Brody, from what I understand, this is all hearsay to me, but he was a good businessman too. He wanted his share,
Yep.
But I just like to slide by.
But I mean, but Dick always paid you what you guys had agreed upon, and everything was good, right? You never.
Yeah, he was good to me. I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't have any problem with him.
Yeah. And did you ever meet his wife?
In or out of the ring, by the way.
Yeah. Did you ever meet his wife, Lois? Lewis? How are you saying it? Lois?
Dick the Bruiser's wife?
Yeah. Because I always heard she did not like wrestling, and she wasn't a big fan of wrestling or wrestlers.
When I knew Dick the Bruiser, his wife was named Rhea.
Okay, well,
RHEA.
Different wife.
I think so. I don't remember this other lady.
So what was his wife at that time like? Was she okay?
She was a happy, friendly person when I was around her. Yeah.
Yeah, they said his later wife did not like wrestling, and she wasn't friendly to be around. Is what I always heard.
I didn't know her, so I don't know.
Well, she had to live with Dick the Bruiser, so that would make you a little grumpy, probably.
For me, yeah, I wouldn't want to live with him at all.
No, no, no. Um, so I mean, man, Baron, we could talk forever about. I mean, I could talk to you forever just about the WWA, but we didn't even touch on all your other career. I mean, you've done it all. You've been everywhere, right? I mean, the AWA, Mid Atlantic, Georgia. I mean, I could go on and on and on. But you
Johnny
said
Cash, Johnny Cash says it's best. I've been everywhere, man. I've
absolutely.
been everywhere. I could go on with this music, but
Yeah, well, but you said earlier
one
that
of my hidden talents.
well, not so hidden anymore. You just let it out. Feel free. I mean, you can break in a song anytime you want. I'm more than happy to let the Baron sing for me.
Okay, I'm not going to, but go for it.
All right. Well, I had to try.
When's your birthday, Dave?
It's in August. It's in August. It's already passed. So
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Yeah. Happy birthday to you.
there you go.
And that is all the people need to know. That was a free cameo. I can take it off my taxes.
There you go. But like I was saying, you've worked everywhere, Baron. But you said earlier that your years in Indianapolis were some of your funnest years, some of your best years. You really enjoyed it. So is that?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, because the trips were short.
yeah,
We'd go to the town and come back. We didn't have to stay over very many nights, and whereas other territories like Charlotte and well, most of the other territories,
yeah,
you're gone from home a lot more. And
yeah.
Believe it or not, I don't know about the Baron, but Jimmy Raschke from Nebraska likes to go home.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, that is, I mean, that is nice, right? It's like, it does feel more like a job when you get to come home and spend time with your family and be there for things and I mean, it makes it more enjoyable, right?
Yeah,
Oh, I guess that's a dumb question, right? It's an obvious question, isn't it?
of course it is.
I apologize, Baron. But let's talk about the Claw again, right? It's out there, like we said, Amazon Prime. And it's based on a stage show that you did, right? Called The Baron. Is that correct?
The movie, yeah.
Yeah. So tell it, how did you start doing the stage show?
Well,
Uh-oh.
my son approached me one day and he says, "I've got this friend, and he would like to do." His friend was a playwright. He's
Yeah.
educated. He's a Canadian from Canada, and he was educated to be a playwright. He studied in Montreal, I think, and in Germany, and
And
had a lot of
South Africa.
South Africa, that's where it was.
Yeah, yeah.
I knew it had something to do with Germany. They're Germans there. Anyway, so I thought that Carl was, he was going to college, and I thought, well, it's one of his friends wants me to help him, give him some stories to write this play, So okay, and I thought it was for an assignment from school. Well, it turns out it's he's writing this play because he could. What do they call it? It was
a fellowship or a grant.
Huh?
It was a grant.
It was a grant from the History Theater.
Mm-hmm.
The History Theater had a thing out that if you wrote a play and they liked it, it was a contest.
Sure. Right.
A lot of different
Sure.
plays.
Yeah.
And I guess he did a pretty good job of whatever, and he won. So they ran the play, and then once again, George Clooney wasn't available, so they had to take me as to play the Baron.
There you go. Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I had a good time doing it.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
Did it? I mean, not that different from wrestling in some ways, right? I mean, it's all character, sell yourself, right?
Yeah, except the fans stay in their seats a lot better at a play than they do in their
That's right.
wrestling matches. In Montreal, they would come out of their seats at the drop of a hat, and we dropped a lot of hats.
Yeah.
And Mad Dog, my partner at the time, he would say, "Baron, go for their eyes, go for their eyes, and don't ever let them get you down. They'll kick you to death." Well, I didn't like going for their eyes, but I didn't go down either.
Yeah. Yeah. And Mad Dog's in the documentary, right? You and Mad Dog were lifelong friends, right? I mean, just
Yes, we were.
yeah. I mean, what a character Mad Dog Vachon is.
Yep, there was only one of him.
Yeah. I don't think the world could take two, could they? I don't think it could handle more than one.
Probably not.
And yeah, I mean, he was something else. And yeah, and the Baron and Mad Dog together, that's a lot.
There was a lot of heat,
Yeah. And I mean, Baron, you've had a Hall of Fame career. You've wrestled, like you said, like Johnny Cash said, you've wrestled everywhere. You've done the stage show, you've done the documentary. So what is next for the Baron? You've got a lot of life, a lot of energy. What's next for the Baron?
Well, if George Clooney turns down another thing, I'll probably step in.
There you go. Just waiting for that phone to ring, huh?
Yeah. Have gun, will travel.
So, I mean, it sounds like you're always open for an ideal, open to try something new and have some fun.
Yeah. I have whatever comes along.
Yeah.
Whatever comes along. I may or may not want to do it, but
how old are you, Baron?
Old enough to know better.
Yeah.
How old do you think I am?
Well, I think I know. I think I think I looked. Are you 84, Baron?
I have
Yeah.
been for about 3 or 4 months here.
Yeah. And you, well, man, why are you singing happy birthday to me for? And, but 84, but man, Baron, you've got such life and energy. I mean,
you looked like you needed to be cheered up. That's why I sang to you.
well, you definitely cheered me up. I told my wife when I interviewed Baron, it's going to be like a before and after hair thing with all my hair and you have no hair. It's like the two extremes.
Let's see. What do I do? What do I do? You got me backed into a corner.
Uh-huh. Baron,
Anyway,
I bet Baron never had long hair, did he?
Never long hair, no.
No.
When I was born, my dad, I had like almost white hair.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, my 2 brothers have it. I had it too. My younger brother and my older brother. When we were young, we had like what it was white hair, and then it got blonder and blonder, and then so we were kind of whatever. But as we aged, it changed, and I was never a hair guy. I always had a colic or something, And,
Too much trouble, huh?
yeah, you had to comb it all the time.
I know. I feel it.
So anyway, when I had a chance, I shaved it off, and here I am.
And of course, I mean that's what the Baron would be, right? The Baron can't have hair. So you just answered the age-old question. If the Baron had hair, he would be blonde? Don't go. No, we're okay. Just let's let
Yes,
that
he
one.
would, and it's none of your business. That's my business.
All right, all right. I won't pry. I won't pry. Well, Baron, I won't keep you too long. Like I said, I could talk to you forever, and we could talk about all kinds of things. And
Yeah, I bet we could.
you seem, Baron, you seem like you like music a lot, as much as you like to sing and everything. Are you a big music fan?
Oh, I like music, but I don't know what you mean by it.
No, no. I mean, we've had this interview. You sung to me. You've talked about Johnny Cash. You keep bringing up music.
Yeah, well, I like music.
Yeah. Who do you have a favorite band or artist or anything? No.
No.
What about style of music? Do you have a favorite
Ever,
style of music?
ever since Mad Dog and the Crusher left the trio, we made such beautiful music together.
Did you?
The Crusher on one side with rat-a-tat-tat, Mad Dog on the other side with, I don't know what he did, but it was explosive.
Yeah. Well,
Me in the middle.
there you go. Well, Baron, again, I won't keep you too long. I know you're a busy guy. You got things to do, and
He keeps saying that, doesn't he?
no. Well, you know, I guess you're 84.
Huh?
I guess you're 84. You just kind of go wherever it takes you, right? You just,
I don't remember, but
like I said, 84.
He'll go wherever I take him.
There you go. There you go. Yeah. Well, Baron, thank you so much for talking to me, and thank you for your career. I've always been a Baron Von Raschke fan. Always enjoyed watching you.
sure you were. That first 20 years would have helped a lot if I'd have known that.
Well, I'm sorry. I apologize for that. But thank you. And again, everybody needs to go out and watch The Claw on Amazon Prime. It's not your typical documentary. It's so fun to watch. And Baron, you haven't lost a step. You are just as entertaining in that as you have ever been in your life.
Thank you. Yes, and the two guys,
That helped make the documentary.
yeah,
Yeah.
Carl Raschke,
Yeah. And his
my
friend.
son,
Yeah.
and his friend
Yeah.
Philip Harder.
Yeah.
Philip Harder
Yeah.
did a terrific job with the photography.
They did. They did.
And some of the film was actually taken by my wife.
Oh, yeah.
Bonnie.
Yeah.
He held the camera steady and didn't know she was making a
No. No.
a few years ago. But
Yeah.
anyway, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, a little bit of everything in there, right? I mean, there's
Yeah.
cookout footage, behind the scenes footage, and pictures from your family, career footage. I mean, it's got a little bit of everything from the life of Baron or that Nebraska boy who made it big.
And that is all you need to know. Take that, David.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, Baron, I'm safe from the claw here. Thankfully. I think I even at 84, I think you could probably make me tap out to that thing.
There'd be a good chance.
I think there'd be more than a good chance.
I'd be more than happy to try it out.
Well, maybe someday, Baron, we'll meet up, and you can put that claw on me, and we'll see what happens.
All right. I'll look forward to it.
I can't say that I would, but
You can look over your shoulder.
Uh-oh. That doesn't sound good.
Oh, Davy.
Baron, I'm gonna have bad dreams now.
I must have done something right.
There you go. That's right. Well, Baron, before we say goodbye, anything else you want to say well, not to me, but to my listeners? Anything else from Baron Von Raschke before we close out here?
Run, don't walk. soon, the Baron, Amazon, the big bio of Baron Von Raschke, family and friends, then the claw. And that is all the people need to know. Baron on
Amazon Prime Video.
Amazon. I must be 84.
Yeah. It's, that's all these channels and streaming things they gotta be weird, aren't they, Baron? It's just
What's that?
and I said all these Amazon Primes and Netflixes and stuff. Yeah, it's
I'm
complicated.
I'm computer.
Yeah.
Know nothing.
He doesn't understand what a podcast is, so this is brand new.
Yeah. Is this your first podcast, Baron?
No.
Second, you did. Who is you were on with what's his name, wrestler? I set you up.
Oh,
Ooh.
yeah. Briscoe. Jerry Briscoe.
Yeah, JBL and Briscoe.
JBL and Briscoe.
Well, so I'm your second then.
I'm
Well, that's
sorry.
no. That's exciting. That's an honor.
Yeah. They're a couple of good guys too.
Yes, they are. Jerry Briscoe, man, what a worker.
Yeah, great worker.
Yeah, no, and, his brother Jack. How smooth.
Yeah. Huh?
Oh, how smooth was Jack in the ring?
He was great.
Another Olympic guy, right? I mean, you and Jack had a big amateur background, right? Did you?
Yeah.
Together.
Yep.
Yeah, see, I mean, we didn't even have time to talk about all that. I mean,
We
your
weren't
amateur.
together, but we
No. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, we didn't even have time to talk about your amateur background, Olympics, military. Man, Baron, we'd have to block out a week just to talk about your whole career.
Okay. Block it out. Doesn't mean I'll show up, but block it out.
No. Well, maybe sometime we could talk again and we'll talk about
Okay.
something else.
Okay.
How about that?
I hope we made the audience have a good laugh, good time. And now I want to say one thing.
Okay.
That's all the people need to know. The Baron, the Baron, the Baron, and the Claw.